Hello and welcome back to Aetheral Space 7.5 with the piranhas in the tank. We are back.
Hello, welcome.
Welcome back.
Videograph keeps wanting to be videography on your thing, it seems.
Let me correct that. It's all add videograph to dictionary. That's how you do it.
It's awkward because videograph is the name of like the specific thing in your universe, but videography is also a real life word, so it keeps. But yes.
What's he talking about?
So
could you possibly be mentally unstable?
I have to add these to my add videograph to dictionary. There we go. He's right, of course. So, just as a heads up, for this week, these next two ones, I might have Tanhony be the heavy reader. I'm going to try and do as much as I can, but I am not feeling well, so we're going to see how things go. But if the voices are off, like Skipper's voice is always off, then
you have never once claimed that it's on, so.
I always feel like I do it wrong.
When was it good, in your opinion?
When it sounded like the shitty Patrick Warburton, but I always feel like I'm doing it wrong.
Maybe it's just developing.
Afterwards. I'm not good at it. Does it sound different to you between
exactly
tries?
The same every time. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's crazy. Okay. Maybe my body's like more accustomed to it or something, so it like feels different. Like my organs have honed themselves to do the voice.
To steal.
All right. Chloe Oliphant Escoffier sighed as she checked the time on her wristbound script. It would still be hours until this dumb family meeting was over, and they could start packing to go home. Then she'd have to begin the process of catching up on schoolwork before she could so much as meet up with her friends again. That's the life of a teenager, am I right? Like, by day, student, by night, criminal warlord. Best of both worlds, Miley Cyrus over here. Snack, Scout, Elephant, Dog. What?
Hannah Montana.
Yeah, it's the Hannah Montana of Aetheral Space.
I don't know the song.
You get the best of both worlds. Chill it out, take it slow. Then you rock out this show. That's the only lyric I know. I don't know the rest. Snack, Scout, Elephant, Dawkins sitting next to her on the couch offered her a spicy chip. She sullenly accepted it. While all the adults and Rico had gone to the family meeting, Chloe had been told she'd have to stay here in her father's building until he got back. It was so stupid. The building was a skyscraper with a cover as a videograph production company, but the whole place was packed with guards and employees. Little employee. Chloe was only allowed to move freely up here on the top floor. Otherwise, people started telling her what to do. Oh, it's not safe to move around without an escort. Stay where we can see you. Like she was a 5-year-old or something. At least Scout was here, too, hanging out in the private theater. He could be lame sometimes, but he was pretty cool at the same time. He was probably just here for the videograph, but still. Apart from the couch they were sitting on, and the giant screen that the comedy videograph was being displayed on, the room was utterly void of furniture. Rows of panels built into the floor were capable of flipping over into chairs, providing more seating if they had more guests, but they were very rarely used. You see that chair? Scout suddenly asked, breaking her out of her reverie. He was pointing in the corner of the shot on the monitor at a wooden chair sculpted to look like a twisted wolf. Chloe frowned. It looked kind of creepy, to be honest. Yeah, she muttered. What about it? We've got that in our house back home. The actual prop. My dad saw it and thought it looked badass, so he tracked it down and bought it off the director. Your house? I thought you guys lived on a starship, because you move around all the time, right? It's a house inside a starship, Scout said simply, as if that explained anything at all. Chloe decided not to pursue it further, like a boathouse, but sci-fi.
Yeah.
Move out the way! Someone screamed, a medical team gathering around the figure on the ground. With professional practiced efficiency, all the equipment required for restoring a life was brought into action. The first shock had no effect. Oh, I didn't even notice that dash there. I was going to say I think you forgot a dash, but I can see you've gone back in time and fixed it.
No, that was actually the whole time that time. I didn't even have to use my ability.
Damn. Oh god, my head.
My A for power.
We should still have a day or so after the meeting. What?
My A for
What's
power,
up?
New World Order.
We should still have a day or so after the meeting, Scout said cheerfully, pulling his legs up onto the couch. We should all hang out somewhere together, the three of us. Make some memories or something, right? Chloe shifted uncomfortably in her seat. Her eyes were looking at the pictures on the screen, but she wasn't watching it. I don't know, she mumbled. Things have been weird. It feels like Rico's one of them now, not one of us. What? Scout furrowed his brow. Because he's older? Everyone grows up. Chloe was perfectly aware that she sounded petulant right now, so having it pointed out to her didn't do much to lighten her mood. I know, she bit her lip, but it feels like I'm being left behind, like, before long it'll just be me. With Keiko gone too, it just feels bad. All of it. Scout frowned, reaching over and squeezing her shoulder reassuringly. I get what you mean, Chloe, he said, smiling sadly. But that's just life, right? We won't leave you anywhere. We'll always be family. The most, pre-death speech ever. Things are gonna be okay, right? The second shock was much the same, accomplishing nothing but posthumous indignity. A second doctor thrust a stimulant needle into the body's neck, a push of the plunger releasing its payload. Even with that, though, there was no response. The meeting room was full of the sounds of argument, the Oliphants shouting at each other and their employees, bodies rushing to and fro to secure the premises before whoever had done this could escape. A third shock. Nothing. Right, Chloe nodded, smiling to herself as she turned back to the videograph monitor. This was one of her favorite features. If she could just pay attention to it, she was sure she could cheer up just a little. Right now, at least, everything really was okay. And then Chloe's script began to ring. Alright, I'm gonna have to probably leave the rest of this chapter to you. I'm taking damage.
It's so fucking all for one and getting passed down. No, one for all even.
There you go.
It's your turn, Tanhony. Do your best.
Do your skipper.
Well, Skipper's not talking right now, but Death was confirmed.
Really? Because I'm looking at the third paragraph and I see his name.
Yeah, but he hasn't started speaking yet. I can't see the whole thing in Skipper's voice. Death was confirmed. Death was confirmed.
Oh my god, that should be Aetheral Space reaches 100,000 sales. We do an audiobook reading in Skipper's voice only.
We have to do Skipper doing other voices.
Yeah. Oh, that's advanced voice acting skill. I did it one time on accident with Skipper. I remember you said something about it.
Death was confirmed nearly 5 minutes after Jacques Oliphant Escoffier collapsed to the ground. The crowd of medical personnel who had gathered around him had tried everything, but in the end they'd simply admitted defeat. Up on the balcony, Dragon turned to look at Skipper, who was scanning the room below from his perch on the railing. Did you see what happened? Skipper asked quietly, his eyes like those of a hawk as he observed the chaos. Dragon shook his head. No, well, I guess I did. He just fell off his chair and started spasming. Poison, I guess, only he was drinking for a while before it took effect. Something in the wine designed to activate at a specific time? Bruno stood up next to him, their little group an oasis of calm in the midst of the rush of movement. There's stuff like that, he nodded, surely only knowing of such things for wholesome and legal reasons. Ruth kept...
Wholesome 100, Bruno.
You're breathtaking.
Actually, now that you mentioned memory, I wonder, do you think Bruno and Serena have distinct memories? If one of their personalities was unconscious for some reason, that only the other would know a detail?
In some cases, yeah.
That is crazy.
Ruth kept up the back, her claws already manifested to defend against any incoming attacks. Dragon doubted anyone would risk themselves by going after the bodyguards after poisoning a crime lord, but it was good to know his back was safe all the same. What do we do? She called out over her shoulder. Skipper's eyes scanned the room once again, before settling in one spot and clicking his tongue. Hell, he sighed. Looks like our employment's not so secure anymore, kids. Something caught you.
You're welcome.
Dragon followed his gaze and his eyes widened in shock. What he saw was an impossibility. There, being wrestled to the ground by two of Roy Oliphant Dawkins' bodyguards, was Mr. Fix.
This motherfucker called his adopted kid and was like, there will be no issues. It's just a simple job, smile. I would never, I solemnly swear I'm up to no good.
As Dragon watched, mouth agape, the man who'd seemed like such an immovable fixture during his childhood was brought to heel. Firm restraints were...
See, this is actually symbolism, because his name is Mr. Fix, so he is like a fixture in Dragon's life. He's something stable to latch onto. The author was trying to convey that, I think, with the themes.
Actually, I just like the name Fix, so themes don't exist. Firm restraints were forced onto Fix's hand and he was pulled it to his feet. That was a new voice. I don't know what the fuck that was meant to be.
Yeah, that not like unlocked a new Tanhony bit. I kind of love that one.
The expression on his face, even through Fix's stony expression, Dragon could see a spark in his defiance.
No, you use expression too. I would do visage. Stony visage.
New World Order. Double. Makes sense, I guess, Bruno muttered. He was chumming with Jock, so would have had an opportunity to slip him something. Hot anger flooded through Dragon's hands, clutching the railing with such ferocity he thought his blood would burst out his veins and escape. The metal bent in his frustrated grip.
What do you think Dragon's blood pressure numbers are? They're probably pretty high, right?
Infinity. Bullshit, he hissed. Bruno raised an eyebrow. I thought you hate the guy. If they decide he did it, he won't be seeing the light of day again for sure. Still, growled Dragon, eyes fixed on Fix. He wouldn't have done this. He doesn't have the guts.
Oh, Fix was the one being held down. I thought Fix was holding them down. I misheard earlier. Okay, this makes more sense. I thought, like, Fix called his adopted son and then screwed him over.
A slow smirk spread across Skipper's face as he listened. Well, Mr. Hadrian, he said dramatically, stepping back from the railing. Seems to me we've got two paths before us right now. A path of red.
A path of blue and a path of red.
We could either leave, head somewhere else, and have a nice time. His smirk spread into a grin. Or we can go down there and get ourselves involved. When it came to the choices you were most sure about, the decision-making process became irrelevant. Your body already knew what it would do the moment the choice was posed. You'd shoot someone in the back without even realising it. Or, in this case,
no one on the internet can relate to this.
Why didn't he have an equation for why he did it?
I was more going to say because people are so indecisive. They're always like, oh, I don't know what to pick today.
Or, in this case, with a crackle of blue aether, Dragon jumped off the balcony, smothering his momentum with a split-second Gemini whirls before landing in the middle of the meeting room. Half a dozen guards and Oliphants, already on high alert, swung around to face him. Above, Dragon heard Skipper's distant voice. I thought maybe we'd be a little more subtle than that.
I thought we'd be a little more subtle than that, Dragon! Laugh track. Hell yes.
She looked. Call a bit her lick.
Damn.
Carla bit her. Carla. She bad.
Carla bit off a devious lick.
Carla, she do be devious though. Carla bit her lip as she looked at the body on the slab. You see, I was pretending to be amused there. I could throw it away like it was nothing. Jock had been a good-looking man in life, but in death he'd been utterly besmirched. His skin was gnarled and torn like sodden paper, with dark red flesh poking out from between the gaps. His bloodshot eyes had nearly spilled out from his head with the softening of his sockets. His jaw and throat had collapsed in on themselves. The poison had continued its ghastly work posthumously, leaving with a frozen scream that stretched all the way down to his collarbone. Just 30 minutes ago he'd been walking and speaking as he'd done for 38 years, and now he was like this, a prop in a morgue.
Damn.
In this sort of situation...
That's kind of a dope, like, band name, or maybe a song name. Prop in a morgue.
Well, maybe post your YouTube video with a song in the comments, and we'll check it out and react to it. It doesn't know any Tanhony voice. In this sort of situation, Carla believed it was appropriate to close the eyes of the deceased, but Jock's eyelids had long since flaked away. All she could offer him was the dignity of a sheet, as she pulled it up over his face. It was like she was locking him behind a firm white door. Someone stepped into the morgue behind her. "Ma'am," said Avery, the family's elderly butler, his voice quivering with age. "I brought the young fellow who spoke for as Modius Fix, as you asked." "I see," she replied quietly, turning away from Jock's concealed form. "Thank you, Avery." In the chaos following Jock's death, she hadn't been able to get a good look at the person Fix had brought in, but now that she did, she realised he was much younger than she'd assumed. A silver-haired constituent, his face red from stress, staring at her with an expression mingling between defiance and confusion. "You have something you want to say to me?" Clara asked. Who the fuck is Clara? Carla asked, wiping her hands off.
Literally unreadable. My immersion's broken.
What do you mean? You always say Clara. It's like fucking Paul.
Is this your new OC stand that allows you to rewrite reality? New World Order?
I'm sure it said Clara.
You should start using New World Order and Havoc Moon as like the gaslight stand. Like, actually, this is what happened last session. You just didn't remember, right?
The boy swallowed. Fix didn't do it. He's innocent. Why do you say that? Seems to me that everyone in our line of business is, as you say, the type. Wait a minute, I fucked that up.
Wait, why did she say as you say? He didn't say the type. I assume you originally had it like he's not the type, and then you like deleted it.
I wrote that in my head, and then forgot, and then referenced it later.
I do that too. That's a neurodivergent type beat right there.
As you say, the type. Fix is a parasite. He's not stupid enough to cut off the hand that feeds him. Carla sighed. Unless a richer hand... Okay.
Are you sure it's not Clara? Because I see Clara even in this area down here.
Yeah.
Let me fix that for you.
Carla sighed. Unless a richer hand is ready to take his place. That gave the young man pause at least. His brow furrowed. What do you mean? In a single smooth motion, Carla flicked on a script and held it up, screen pointing towards the conjutant. Rows of white text scrolled across a black background. What's this? The boy asked, but his eyes were already scanning it with vigour. Personal account of Asmodeus Fix, she explained, tucking it back into her pocket after a moment. Right after my brother was killed, this man received an enormous payment of 50,000 Stador. He certainly got...
Because he was framed. Because he was framed! Frame payments!
The hesitation the script had created lasted only a moment. The boy soon shook his head with even more passion. No way, it's a...
Winston would never consider the case solved this quickly.
He would not be happy. No way, it's a frame job. If he'd really been paid to do this, he wouldn't be stupid enough to receive the money on his personal account and use a proxy or something. Plus, he'd have gotten out of here before anyone could take him in. He's not stupid enough to botch an assassination this badly. Carla narrowed her eyes just slightly at the young man's passionate appeal. What's your name, kid? Dragon Hadrian. I'm Carla Oliphant.
Actually, it's supposed to be Dragon Hadrian.
No, it's not. You can't
fix that.
You can't use New World Order like that. I'm Carla Oliphant. You wanna know why I'm here all alone, without any bodyguards or peons to do my dirty work? Not really. Well, at least he was honest. It's because I'm this family's troubleshooter. I find trouble and I shoot it. I'm very good at my job. And Asmodeus Fix, he's trouble. I can tell just from looking at him. But, she interrupted, pushing through his words. You're saying this is a frame job, right? And I have to agree with you when you say it looks pretty sloppy. There's every possibility there's a double bluff. You're not going to suspect the guy who's so obviously being framed, are you? But would someone framing someone like this be so sloppy? I doubt it. Dragon Hadrian's bald fist fell to his sides. That's just you speculating, he muttered, glaring down at the floor. Same with you saying he's innocent. Seems right on pass here, aren't we?
Oh, Tan, you mean impasse, buddy.
That's what I said.
New World Order.
I made you do it. I used you as a proxy. Your body was not your own. A thought occurred, and the stern demeanour Carla Oliphant had adopted eased, just slightly. Hear me out, though. I think there's a way we can both come out this happy. Dragon glanced back up at her. How's that? I'm sure you were listening to the meeting down there. The Oliphant clan can't afford to seem weak. We need to be seen taking in someone for this killing, if nothing else, and Fix is the only candidate available. Once our father arrives on the cradle, he'll most likely order Fix's execution. It'll be excruciating. The horrified look Carla had expected didn't quite appear on Hadrian's face. Unless, he prodded, unless we find a better candidate. If you're so confident you know who did this, Dragon Hadrian, you bring them to me. Do that, and Fix will be free to go.
Are you telling me Dragon jumped to fight off all these criminal guys, and they're like, we'll give you a chance to prove his innocence? I thought he tried the Gemini World Fix away and jumped into the fray.
Jumped down to be stop! This is no.
Then why did he use Gemini World?
So that he
what was
wouldn't
the point of that?
Because it smothers his momentum, so he doesn't fall really fast.
He ghost jumped.
Yeah.
Featherfall.
Dragon Hadrian took a deep breath, clearly tossing the proposal over in his head, and slowly nodded. Carla had to conceal the smirk that threatened to spread over her own face. It was a shame. This kid seemed earnest, and he clearly cared about Asmodeus Fix on some level, but Carla honestly couldn't see him succeeding in the task he'd been presented with. He'd make a nuisance of himself poking around for clues, and eventually be disappeared by one of her siblings or one of their subordinates. Still, a nuisance was a useful thing. The people Carla hated more than anything were slow to move. so anything that demanded action from them was a godsend. Dragon Hadrian would be a useful spider to have crawling across the chessboard.
Hell yes.
And with that is 7.5.
As spiders are known to do.
With the prawns
spiders typically like crawling across
They
chessboards.
do, because the colours stimulate the pheromones. Mm-hmm.
Does it?
No.
I don't think that's how that works.
I'm
gonna look that up.
New World Order. Wikipedia.
Do spiders crawl across chessboards? No. I'm not seeing any links on Google.
Let's rearrange the
Wow!
plans.
You rewrite reality so spiders now do indeed crawl across chessboards.
New World Order has one very specific power. It makes whatever I'm saying right.
You know what would be interesting? That would actually be a cool stand, but you can only do one thing at a time, so if you use it again, the last thing that you made right gets, like, uncorrected.
Darnell is dead. New World Order. Well, yes, that was...
See, that's easy. Then you just have to put, like, my body in a thing of lava, so then when you do the new thing, I'll die instantly upon resurrection.
Like a fucking mob spawner.
Yeah! Ooh, ooh!
But yes, that was 7.5.
Alright. Thank you guys for listening. That was very epic. Bye!
Bye.